It's happening right now, and it changes everything. Deandra. Ayton is a Los Angeles Laker, and the center question that's haunted this team for years just got a very real, very physical answer. The kind of answer that either turns Crypto.com Arena into a nightly runway of lobs and putbacks, or sparks the hardest accountability check of Ayton's career. There's no middle ground, and that's exactly why you cannot miss what comes next. Because this isn't just another big name in purple and gold. This is a 7-footer walking into a locker room where LeBron James still controls the temperature of the building, and Luka Doncic now controls the tempo of every single possession. And if Ayton plugs into that power source the right way, the West is going to feel it from the first preseason tip to the last defensive stand of May. If he doesn't, Los Angeles will move on in a heartbeat, and the story becomes about missed chances. So ask yourself, do you want to be the fan who says, "I saw the moment the switch flipped," or the one catching highlights 2 weeks late and wondering how you missed the start of a brand new era? Because this is one of those hinge moments where reputations are made and banners either get stitched or stay as Photoshop dreams. And if you live and breathe this team like we do, hit subscribe and drop a like right now, because we're tracking every rotation tweak, every training camp clip, every look JJ Redick throws at his new big. And we're doing it with the eyes of people who watch this franchise reinvent itself a dozen times and still crave the next version like it's the first. So let's talk about exactly why this can work and what must happen to make it inevitable instead of theoretical. Starting with the simple geometry that makes Ayton next to Luka and LeBron so dangerous. Vertical spacing, plus star-level gravity. Start on the left slot with Luka holding the ball hip-high like it's a yo-yo. Eyes up, pace slow on purpose. Ayton comes to screen. Not a glide-by, but a body-on-body screen that actually dents the on-ball defender. Luka snakes the dribble into the elbow, and now the weak-side tagger has a choice that feels like a lose-lose. Because if he takes one step too deep, the skip is already leaving Luka's hand to Austin Reeves for a rhythm three. If he stays home, Ayton has inside position and only needs a pocket pass. He can catch it chin level and finish before the help even gathers. That's the gravity stack this roster didn't have last year, and it multiplies when LeBron initiates. Because LeBron doesn't just read the floor, he rearranges it, using Ayton as a moving landmark to drag defenders out of their comfort zones. Empty corner. Spain pick and rolls with Marcus Smart ghosting the back screen. 5-out delays that flip to a dribble handoff and re-screen. Early seals against smaller lineups that force emergency doubles before the clock even says 18. All of it built on one condition. Ayton has to sprint into his actions and own the first 3 seconds of every possession. The version of Ayton that Los Angeles needs isn't the coasting mid-post face-up artist. It's the violent vertical sprinter who sets re-screens without being asked, who flips angles mid-dribble to keep Luka on a downhill track, who wedges for inside rebounding position with his hips before the shot is even released. It's a mindset more than a skill set, and when he's lived in that mindset, think back to the Deep Suns run when he ate glass, ran lanes, and played on time. He didn't just look like a good starting center. He looked like the kind of two-way big contenders trust in the last 5 minutes. What does that trust look like for JJ Redick? On defense, it starts with a commitment to discipline over swag. Drop coverage that's deep enough to wall off the rim, but not so passive that guards feel comfortable walking into floaters. It means angles, not jumps, and late contests with verticality instead of swipe-through fouls. It means communication that's loud and constant so Reeves can chase over, Smart can peel and stunt, and LeBron can quarterback the weak side X-out without burning gas possessions he needs on offense. It also means owning the glass on both ends. Because if Ayton is swallowing defensive rebounds and triggering the outlet in one motion, this team's transition game becomes a nightly storm. Lucas's hit-ahead passes. Reeves filling the right lane, Smart as the early drag screener. LeBron as the trailer who turns broken floors into layups for other people. That's the blueprint for cheap points that matter in April when the half-court grinds down. And in the half-court grind, trust looks like this. You don't chase blocks you can't get. You win the battle by taking away second chances. Put it simply, If Ayton becomes a one-shot possession sheriff, Los Angeles gets the extra 5 or 6 points a night that separate a good team from a home court team and a home court team from a conference favorite. Offensively, the checklist is crystal. Be early, be big, be simple. Be early to screens so Luka can decide before the defense is set. Be big on seals so smalls feel you before they see the pass. Be simple with finishes, two-hand dunks, soft hooks, quick flips, and live in the paint like you pay rent there. Combine that with short roll decisions that are pre-read, not freestyled. Because with the playmakers on this roster, the defense is going to trap and show high. And if Ayton becomes automatic at catch-one dribble spray, the Lakers basically install a pressure release valve that keeps their offense from stalling. The bonus is that Ayton's touch from the foul line area forces respect on those empty corner delays, which keeps the floor balanced and prevents the dead-end mid-post isolations that made last season feel like uphill running. And when the second unit needs a base action, pair Ayton with Smart and spam the old-school two-man game. Smart is a master at screen angles and slip timing. He'll give Ayton 4 points a night just by manipulating coverage with his shoulders and patience. Now, let's address the part everybody whispers because it matters more in LA than almost anywhere. Effort is a skill, and consistency is a choice. Ayton has heard every line about motor engagement, and this city doesn't do benefit of the doubt for long. What flips that narrative here is an identity that's simple to measure. First to the floor on 50-50 South, first to the paint in early offense, first to extend possessions with tip-outs, first to put a body on the strongest guy, and last to complain. You do that for 2 weeks in Staples. Yeah, some of us still call it that. Put you on a fast track to cult status. Because Lakers fans respect star power, but they fall in love with reliability. And if Ayton brings steel to the middle, Luka brings genius to the perimeter, and LeBron brings gravitas to everything, the chemistry writes itself. The locker room helps here too. Reeves is glue. Smart is accountability with a smile until it isn't. Jackson Hayes is the push every big man needs in practice. New faces bring hunger. Vets bring clarity. And Redick brings a scheme that punishes laziness by making it obvious on film. That's the culture fit Ayton is walking into. He doesn't have to be Shaq. He has to be present, precise, and punishing. Rotations will tell you a lot in the first 10 games. Expect staggered minutes that tie Ayton to Luka for long stretches to maximize the PNR engine, with a counter package that slides LeBron into point-forward lineups where Ayton becomes the hammer, inverted pick and rolls where LeBron screens and Ayton dives behind a switch. Horns entries that flow into a 5-4 DHO with a slip on the second action. And after timeout sets designed to buy Ayton an easy touch every quarter so he stays warm. Closing time is earned, not gifted. But if the matchup dictates size, you'll see Ayton out there to finish possessions and screen bodies. If opponents go 5 out with small ball pace, Redick will test smaller closing groups and dare teams to deal with Luka, hunting mismatches for 90 consecutive seconds. That's fine, because the point is options, and this roster now has them at center without begging for miracles every night. The hay is in the details. Fewer cheap fouls, deeper rim runs, clean hands on catches in traffic, snap decisions to kick to shooters instead of drifting into contested twos. There's also the reality of the jersey. Playing for the Lakers turns routine Tuesdays into pay-per-view. And some dudes shrink under the brightness while others finally look like themselves. Ayton's path to the second group is brutally straightforward. Show up in shape, lean into contact, and let the work speak. The noise will be there whether he scores 10 or 25. So the only way through is to make the tape impossible to critique for effort. If he does that, the talent takes care of the rest. Because he has every tool you want in a modern 5. Length to contest without jumping. Feet to slide and recover. Hands to catch bad passes and turn them into dunks. Touch to punish switches with a quick left shoulder hook. And enough passing sense to punish digs. The skepticism exists because consistency hasn't. But a 2-year window with this core is the best motivational speaker in the world. Play hard, win big, get remembered. The schedule will throw body shots, brutal road swings, long travel, opponent scouting locked in on the Luka Ayton actions by Thanksgiving. That's where counters matter, emptying the strong corner on purpose so the low man can't tag. Quick flips from Spain PNR into wide pin-down threes for Reeves. Baseline out-of-bounds lobs that buy Ayton a free bucket after droughts. And slip rules that punish switches the second they happen. It's details layered on details. And this staff, with Redick's film room habits and a front office that finally looks like it understands fit as much as star power, has the tools to layer those habits until they become normal. You'll know it's working when the free throws tick up without the offense slowing. When the offensive rebounds feel like extra possessions instead of consolation prizes. And when opposing coaches start giving the "we need to hit first" speech in pregame because they're tired of getting bullied on the glass. And yes, let's be honest about the pressure cooker. The minute there's a stretch of 3 quiet games, the chatter revs. Is Ayton locked in? Should Hayes close? Do they need a stretch 5? Is the drop too deep? That's the LA echo chamber. And the only correct response is winning possessions. That's why the bar for a good Ayton game here isn't 25 points. It's 18 contested rebound chances turned into control. It's 4 screens that free Reeves' shoulders. It's 2 kickouts that become back-breaking threes. It's 1 hard foul that changes body language. The scoring will come as a byproduct of doing the dirty work, and in this context, those 8 boring points that arrive on rim runs are more valuable than any face-up jumper. Because they force the defense to send help early, and that's blood in the water for Luka. Health matters. Conditioning matters, and the Lakers have made that a grown-up conversation in recent years. Sports science, minute tracking, honest off-day work instead of Instagram workouts, and a staff that tells stars the truth. Ayton doesn't need 38 minutes to matter. He needs 30 focus minutes, punctuated by 2 3-minute bursts per half, where he changes the temperature of the game with pace and force. In those windows, Los Angeles can bank runs that break opponents. And that's the hidden value of having a true 5. You can dictate shot profile. You can dictate who gets hit on every screen. And you can dictate what a miss turns into at the other end dot. So here's the bottom line. The part I want clipped and saved for March. If DeAndre Ayton embraces a blue-collar star role, the guy who does the first violent act every possession and accepts that boring wins, the Lakers' offense becomes simpler, their defense becomes stingier, and their identity finally has a spine at the 5 that doesn't depend on asking someone to be something they aren't. He doesn't need to be the loudest player on the floor. He needs to be the most reliable. Do that next to Luka's genius, LeBron's wisdom, Reeves' toughness, and Smart's edge, and this team's ceiling isn't a talking point. It's a root. Fail that test, and roster flexibility plus competition in the big room will do what LA always does. Adapt without apology. My take, as someone who bleeds this team's colors and also cares about the boring things that win in May. Ayton will find it here because the job description is sharper and the accountability is louder. I think we'll look back at the first month and point to a Tuesday in Memphis or a Thursday in Denver when he owned the glass, sprinted the lanes, and blew up 2 late pick and rolls and say, that's when it became real. But I want you in this with me. Tell me in the comments. Do you trust Ayton to be the backbone this roster needed? Or do you still want to stretch 5 closer in the trade market? And if so, who? Because this is our season, our conversation, and our receipts. And I can't wait to hold them up when the lights are brightest.